microphone. Right. Check, 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 check. Tell me when you start getting the audio.
Yeah.
Check, 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 check.
I got it.
Great. So we have audio too. Let's turn
Okay? You guys are not responding. I have no idea what. Anybody? Do you like it? Is it good? Yes? Yes. What about it? Check one more time. One more time. Check, check, check. One more time. Is it pretty? Is it pretty? Okay, I'm just going to turn this off or mute it. I'm going to mute it. Turn it off, okay. Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4. This is mic 2. Got me? One, two, three, four. Yeah, okay. Let me just do that. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. So you want to check your other mic? Check your other camera. We're just gonna be doing the lavalier. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. Lavalier. Lavalier. Lavalier is going off. One, two, three. This is your Sennheiser. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. You got me? This is the Sennheiser? Yeah. 1, 2. I'm turning this off. Yeah, one more microphone.
No, you're not on. Move anything. Thank you.
Excuse me, can we, in order, we need to fill in the chairs. Right over here.
Where's John?
Right here. We have 2 chairs here and 2 chairs here.
Let's see this one.
Less likely for me to be on television if I'm here.
got right? Hold on. Let me wait until it goes back to the center. Because I want to keep it off.
Hello? Can everybody hear me now? Good. It's working. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Turn it up just a little bit. Thank you so much. On behalf of Dr. Schulze and American Botanical Pharmacy and our staff, we just want to thank you so much for being here tonight. Thanks for the long trips that were made.
Mike's not working.
It's not working? It is working. It's not working. Can you hear it? Yeah, okay. All right. Before I introduce Dr. Schulze, just again, I want to thank you for being here. There's a couple things I want to let you know real quick. Did everybody enjoy the food? Everybody had a little snack? Something great. Perfect. Thank you. Good. Awesome. We have a couple things we want to let you know about. Everyone's got some water if you need it underneath your chair. Our brand new catalog, we received them literally just yesterday morning. So we have copies of the brand new catalog for everybody. We have a little gift bag. There's also a 15% off coupon for everyone for attending. Yes. So if you, the coupon is going to be good till the end of the month. Bring it into the retail store. Just bring it with you and say, I was there, and we'll give you 15% off. If you don't think you'll make it back here between now and the end of the month, we're going to open up the store tonight before you leave. So if you want to place an order tonight, go ahead and buy tonight before you go, if you think there's a chance you won't make it back here before the 31st of January. Otherwise, use the coupon. There's also a few other little gifts in there, some other products. So, without further ado, please welcome Dr. Richard Schulze.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, my friends. Thank you for coming. I appreciate your time and your energy and your love. And I see some old faces and a lot of new faces here. And we're doing a live broadcast all over America and around the world. I'm going to give you some information here. Our live event. Let's see if I can find it here. I'm not too... Cancel. Okay, I don't know how to do it. I need help with my phone. Anybody want to figure this out? Who can figure this out? Greg, come up here. I had an email on here and I can't. No, don't delete. Okay, I think I got it now. Wait a minute, where is it? Special live event, the one that has all the countries in it, because I have to say hello to everybody around the world. That's it.
There it is.
Okay, here we go. All 50 states in America have people watching. We have thousands of people watching this broadcast. And I wanted to mention where they are so I can say hello to people around the world. We have Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, Japan, Serbia, Germany, Croatia, Mexico, Netherlands, New Zealand, Philippines, India, Dominican Republic, Latvia, France, Brazil, Russia, Ireland, Trinidad and Tobago, Spain, Italy, Hong Kong, Denmark, Switzerland, Israel, Singapore, Taiwan, Greece, Bermuda, Macedonia, Sweden, Qatar, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Costa Rica, Poland, Slovenia, United Arab Emirates, Bulgaria, Hungary, Saudi Arabia, Thailand, Barbados, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Belgium, Colombia, Peru, Romania, Austria, Indonesia, Norway, Lithuania, Malta, Puerto Rico, Portugal, Ukraine, Bahamas, and South Korea. Very cool. And for all of you watching around the world, we're coming to you from my pharmacy here in Marina del Rey, California. And if you don't know where that is, well, it's LA. It's Los Angeles, California. Okay, let's start out with this. I like starting out with this sometimes because I like to get what I want in life. So I make my intentions very clear to me, to myself, every morning when I wake up. I make my intentions very clear every single morning, and I adjust my focus throughout the day in case it deviates from getting what I want. I do this to create the best possible chance to get exactly what I want in life. Okay? I don't want somebody else's version. I don't want a soap opera. I want exactly what I want to get out of life. I don't indulge on clarity or uncertainty in my life. If I'm talking to people and they're boring to me, I just say, hey, you know what? You can tell that story to someone else, but I'm not interested. It might be pollution. I don't indulge on clarity. Shit just happens, but I make awesome shit happen. Okay? And part of being healthy is being strong and powerful and asking for what you want, not being too shy, being more selfish, more self-centered, more self-involved. If we all just took care of ourselves better, imagine what a wonderful world this would be that we live in. But we don't take care of ourselves, and that's what tonight is all about, taking better care of you. Taking better care of you. Okay, I got my hammer too, in case I need it. Because sometimes we have skulls that are a little thick. Don't need my phone anymore. Okay, let's talk a little bit about health and disease. Because this is really where I have to brainwash you in a different way. I have to wash your brain because we're all polluted with everything we've learned in the last 100 years about disease. Everybody's focused on disease. Everybody in here, all of you are focused on disease because we hear it constantly. It's not the H1N1 virus now, it's the H3, and it's going to kill us all. Okay? Everywhere you look, people are telling us that we're going to be sick and we're going to be diseased. So I want to talk a little bit about that because I want you thinking differently. A big part of being healthy is not thinking disease, not thinking in a polluted way, in a brainwashed way. Okay, so let's look at what medical definition is of disease. It's called an abnormal condition, a group of symptoms. What medicine says health is the absence of disease. That's pretty negative. I don't want to think of myself as being energetic and full of vitality, as just being the absence of disease. Look at the focus here, disease and the absence of disease. There's no mention of health under the definition of health. It's just not having a disease, okay? It's all about disease. I'm not into that. It bores the shit out of me, okay? But we're all programmed to think that way, to think disease-based. And that's what I want to help all of you with tonight. My definition is disease is the absence of health. Sounds much more positive. And what is health? Health is feeling awesome. Feeling awesome. And that's really what I want for all of you, is to feel great and feel awesome. Now, with disease, the symptoms are pain, illness, and it's bad enough death. The symptoms of health is energy, vitality, and fun. If you're having fun, and I'm having fun right now, and if you're feeling energy, and I'm feeling tons of energy and vitality, that's what health is. And if you find yourself not healthy, well, then you might slip into pain, illness, and death. We don't want to go over there. Okay, what's the focus? Well, the focus with disease and medicine is discover what it is. Ooh, what is that disease? My patients used to walk into my clinic with boxes full of files and x-rays and blood tests and electrocardiograms and electroencephalograms and more blood cells to show they had ghost cells in their immune system, and more tests and more x-rays to prove to me what disease they had. And I used to take that box and walk over to the window. I was on the second floor, and just drop it And sometimes they would run after me, crawling after me, scratching after me, trying to grab that box, because that's their whole life. They were their disease. They had become their disease. And I was throwing that away because I'm not focused on disease. I'm focused on fun and feeling good and being healthy. And I don't want to know about that. I'm not interested in that. It bores me. And I've never seen anybody create powerful health focusing on disease. You can't get what you want in life by doing what you don't want to do. It's that simple. I'll say that again. You can't get what you want in life by doing what you don't want to do. I'm going to segue for a minute. Think of it. I read an article in the LA Times. They polled 1,000 people. They said, what do you want to be? And they all wanted to be something else. The train engineers wanted to be brain surgeons. The brain surgeons wanted to be train engineers. How is it we created a society where we're all doing what we don't want to do? That could be one of the main reasons we're not healthy, because we don't like our life. An old cowboy said to me once, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Wow. Do what you love. Could that be such an alien concept? Do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. Okay, back to this. So the focus enough, your disease goes away. It's really that simple. In my clinic, I focused on creating powerful health. I focused on champion juicers and Vitamixers and carrot juice. I focused on movement and having a positive attitude and a great spirit. That's how you create powerful health. And when you create powerful health, disease goes away. I don't care what it is. You name the disease that you can come up with, the discovery of it, and it went away with my patients. And I didn't even focus on it. Okay, what's the treatment with disease? Well, we know chemotherapy. We think of chemotherapy with cancer, but chemotherapy is all pharmaceutical drugs, chemical therapy. Okay, surgery, radiation, organ transplants, doctors, hospitals, emergency rooms. It's that whole big nightmare. It's very expensive. Most of us can't afford it. We try to come up with plans where we can, and they don't work very well. It's a bummer. It hurts. Why do we keep torturing ourselves? Well, it is a $1 trillion industry, so you figure that out. Okay, health is all about the foods we choose, the herbs we choose, creating a healthy lifestyle. It's all about getting more nutrition into our body and getting more waste out of our body. This is really not rocket science, my friends. It's a very simple philosophy. You're getting more nutrition in, more waste out. You're flushing, you're cleaning, you're moving your body. You have a great attitude because your attitude is your altitude. You cannot have sweet thoughts on a sour stomach or vice versa. So you are what you create up here. And creating powerful health, that's what we're focusing on. Doctors and hospitals are betting that you are not going to change and that you're not going to take responsibility. So that they're the cleanup crew, and they're a good cleanup crew. You got a bad problem with your arm or a tumor here, they'll just cut it out, cut you off, burn it out. Charge you a lot of money, you'll be in pain, you'll be mutilated, but that's medicine. It's not bad. I have a lot of medical doctor friends because they're there for those of us who do not want to take responsibility for ourselves and we don't want to change. That medicine's great. But this is what I'm talking about tonight is something very, very different for you, that people that want to change, want to take responsibility and have had experiences with medicine and didn't like them. Okay, let's look at something, because I put a little asterisk here under disease. The world population in December 2017 was 7.6 billion people on this planet. The number of common diseases is 10,000. That means that 760,000 people worldwide have exactly the same disease as you. Bullshit. I mean, how stupid is that? Your disease is the sum total of everything you eat, drink, think, your spirit, your emotions, everything that goes in your mouth, the work, how happy you are, the person you live with. A disease is like a snowflake or a fingerprint. It's something very individual. You don't have the same thing wrong with you that some person living in a hut does in Africa, or some person living up in the Himalayas in a yurt. Okay, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard of, and medicine says a lot of incredibly stupid things, even though it is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. And that's one of the things they say that's pretty dumb. Okay, whatever you do, you add it all up, and that's what you got in here. Now, you also have genetics, but that's water under the bridge, my friends. 50% of you is mom and 50% of you is dad, and that's what you got. But you don't have to manifest what they manifested if you change the way you live versus the way they live. Now, sometimes you want to live the way they lived. I noticed that in my clinic, almost every patient whose parents lived in the old country, the parents were 100 years old and didn't have anything wrong with them, and they were 55 or 60 years old and had 10 different chronic diseases. Well, they need to go back to the old country. Maybe in the old country there's less stress, cleaner food, less chemicals, no snack and junk food, you know, all that. So we need to learn from that too. Your lack of health is very individual. It's a snowflake, it's a fingerprint, it's the sum total of everything you did physically, emotionally, and spiritually that hurt you and made you feel sick. So all we have to do is find out what that was and stop doing it. There is a sign above my head. Oh, we're remodeling. Okay. You can heal yourself of anything. This sign hung in my clinic. You can heal yourself of anything. Any disease, any illness, anything. All you got to do is stop doing what you're doing that makes you sick and start doing what will make you well. That's so simple. I've confused people around the world now. So let me repeat it. You can heal yourself of anything, any disease, any illness, anything a doctor puts a name on, you can heal yourself. Just stop doing physically, emotionally, and spiritually what you've been doing that's made you sick, and start doing new things that will create powerful health. It's that simple. I had also another sign in my clinic. It said, everyone's looking for a great doctor. I'm looking for great patients. Because that's the bottom line. I don't know if you came in here thinking I heal people, but you are in the wrong room. Because if I look like I can walk on water, sorry. Okay, I never healed anybody, ever. But I taught a lot of people how to live a lifestyle, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, that they healed themselves. I don't take responsibility for it. Whether they get sick and die, jump off a cliff. In the first week of my clinic, I had one person that said I killed their relative, and another person that said I was Jesus. And I learned early on, that's not my shit. It's not my stuff. It's just pollution. And I don't take it on. I just do what I do. And health is the sum total of everything you do that makes you feel great. Let's see if I have any more charts. Uh-oh, got a big blank. What the heck do we do now? Are we done? Oh, man. Okay, let's start with some questions. We have some roving microphones. We even have some questions that are being submitted from people around the world. So let's see what happens. That's always the fun part of channeling Dr. Schulze. Okay.
Dr. Schulze, I can start with the question that was submitted to us online.
Great, and I can't hear you.
Okay.
So we can turn that monitor up.
Can you guys get that turned up for him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, perfect.
You're
there we
on.
go. Great. So we got a lot of questions from people who are watching, and there was just a couple I wanted to talk to you about. So let's see. There's a question about cayenne from a woman named Caroline. She says, I'm wondering if you might talk about the benefits of cayenne pepper, particularly as pertaining to our heart, such as helping blood flow through our arteries more efficiently, as well as improving our cholesterol. I'm 80 years old, and I've had triple bypass surgery back in 2006. I've been taking your cayenne pepper for 8 years now, and it's done wonders for me. I would like for others to know about the benefits. So she just wants you to share what she's been experiencing.
And what was her name?
Carolyn.
Carol, I think you just said it. You just told everybody in here exactly. You changed your life, healed yourself with just using cayenne pepper, and you told us about all the benefits. But there used to be some old herbal doctors that all they did is give you cayenne to stimulate your body. When you take cayenne pepper in your mouth, besides the burning, what's the first thing you see happen with someone? Their face turns red. What is that? Blood. Okay, cayenne more than any other herb, and it drives blood throughout your body to all the extremities. Your head is the hardest area for you to get blood to, the hardest area. It's the furthest north. It's the most against gravity. Okay, and cayenne immediately drives blood into your head. You know, in all the brains I've seen of people with dementia and Alzheimer's disease, they're filled with all this yellow mucus. And all it is constipation of the head. If you could get more every brain cell is like any other cell in the body. It needs more nutrition in, and it needs to get the poop out. That's what cells do. All the billions of cells in your body need to eat also and get rid of waste. They're cellular metabolic waste. It needs to get out. And the head, because it's hard to get circulation to, that's where waste gets stuck. And the more waste in your head, the more you might lose your hearing, you might lose your eyesight, you might get confused, you might lose your memory, your brain might degenerate, you might forget things. All those things happen when your brain gets polluted. So getting more blood to your head is a great idea. It also takes pressure off the heart, will lower your blood pressure. So improving your circulation. There's a sign if you go in the toilet here that says blockage, the key to all disease. And really think about that. It could be physical blockage, a gallstone in your bile ducts. It could be kidney stones in your kidneys. It could be a lot of poop in your large intestine. Somewhere there's blockage. Blockage causes disease. Energy's trying to flow, and it just runs into a wall. Okay? My job is to unblock. You'll see that in the catalog, unblockers. Number 2, elimination. I got to unblock the body. Flushing, detoxing, cleansing. It's about unblocking, getting it flowing through. You've all seen that Drano commercial where everything's stuck, the hair and the grease and the drain, and then they put the magic chemical in and it goes, okay, that's Dr. Schulze. We got to unblock. And cayenne is a great unblocker. Okay, next question.
Any questions in the room? I can keep going. I got a bunch of them.
We got one right up front here.
I could talk a little louder.
Yeah, we're gonna put that so everyone in the world hearing you now.
Dr. Schulze, you're fantastic.
Thank you.
Your product's really excellent. Thank you. I'm 70 years old, and about 5 months ago or 6 months ago, they told me, why don't you think about going on dialysis? I said, I'm not going to do that. So I've been taking your product, the green, I forget the name of it, but you mix
Superfood.
Yeah, yes, I've been doing that. So I've been working out 5 days a week, and I did your detox for 5 days, and I
Yeah.
feel much better.
Yeah.
I'm from 238 down to about 198, something like that.
Nice.
So that's great, and I can do round kicks too at
Yeah.
70 years old.
Yeah.
But I have another problem, and perhaps you can tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I'm losing my wallets, I'm losing my phones, and you know, this is scaring me.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do about my brain because
Yeah.
why am I losing these things? And somebody says, well, when you get older, that happens. So perhaps you could give me some guidelines on that because that's my next project.
Absolutely.
And thank you so
And
much.
thank you for the great job you did, brother.
Thank you, Dr.
Yeah,
Schulze.
good job. Good job. You're fantastic too. Okay, so you know, that's just what we talked about. Let me go back a chart. What did he do? Health is the sum total of everything you do that makes you feel great. He just changed some things he was doing, stopped doing certain things, added in some new things, did some detox and cleansing and flushed the body out. And the next thing you know, your disease begins or to go away or goes away. So now your question was, what do we do now because you're starting to have a little lapse of memory and all that? Well, one of the things we talked about just now was cayenne, but specifically, this is now we're going into a commercial break, but I make a brain tonic, and the brain tonic gets more blood and more oxygen to your brain and helps eliminate the waste up there. And so you would be a perfect candidate for that. The brain tonic is based on ginkgo biloba, which is famous for getting more blood and oxygen to the brain. But on top of that, it has cayenne in it, which just drives the ginkgo and makes it 10 times more effective when you add the cayenne and a number of other herbs. But you can also do all sorts of things. You can put, you know, all those books you have that you discovered are just bullshit and you don't want to read them anymore. Put them under the feet of your bed and just get your bed instead of like this, just to feed up a little bit. And that all night long, you'll get more blood to your head, circulating in your head just by elevating a little bit. And advanced wise, you said you were exercising, you were moving, which is great. What were you doing?
I work out 5 days a week.
And what kind of workouts do you do?
First, I use the elliptical machine, and then after the elliptical machine, I use, weights,
Yeah, great.
the elliptical, and then, or the bike, I switch
Yeah.
off, and then I go into the sauna.
And try to do some things where you're inverted, like even some abs on a bench that's slanted. You can do some abs on that and then just lie on that for 5 minutes. You'll feel the flush of blood to your head. And the blood getting to your head will do two things. If there's nutrition in your blood, which I know there is because you're using superfood, it'll get more nutrition to all your brain cells that need to eat too. And at the same time, getting all that blood to your head will just help flush it out. So cayenne, but specifically brain tonic. Let's just get more nutrition. And now we're not talking about healing a disease here. We're talking about him getting more circulation to his head. Okay, next question. We're going to bring you a microphone so
What are your thoughts
yeah, but the
about
people around the world have to hear you, brother.
Yeah, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about coffee and red wine?
Coffee and red wine.
Yeah.
Sounds like a party to me. I think that, a lot of these things are based on the individual. One thing I can tell you about wine, a lot of people talk about the benefits of it, but I can come up with just as many things wrong with it, with the amount of alcohol. I mean, if you consume any alcohol to where you feel a little bit fuzzy, you're hurting your body. That's the bottom line. I know that doesn't sound like a fun party, guys, but that's the reality. Because your liver's job is to metabolize the alcohol and make it go away. And when you overload with alcohol and your liver can't keep up with detoxing it out of your bloodstream, that's when you get drunk. And but let's not get too serious. I know some people that should get drunk. Probably some of you in here. We can't get too serious about all of this. We got to getting drunk once never hurt anybody, but over the long term, alcohol's cardiotoxic. It's bad for your liver. Blah blah blah. We always like to look at references to the old country. We go, why the people in Italy live longer? It's because they drink red wine. Well, the people in Italy don't eat like all the crap that we eat. They don't snack like we snack. They eat garlic and they don't care what they smell like from the breath or under the arms. I can come up with 1,000 reasons that people in Italy live longer. But what's more important is in America, we spend more money per person on medical care than any country in the world, and we don't come into the top 15 of longevity. Well, what the heck is that? If that was a product you bought, you'd return it. I mean, think about it. We don't come into the top 15, so obviously medicine is not giving us our bang for our buck. And it's because it's trying to heal us without us being involved. And that's never going to work. okay? It might help a little. It might keep you alive for a little longer. It might keep you out of pain for a little longer, but you're still going downhill. Okay, I was preaching there. Next. And coffee, you know, it depends on a person's constitution, but the same thing. A lot of people that drink coffee say my bowel works fine, but then I tell them stop drinking coffee and they get headaches and they don't crap anymore. Okay, so you don't really know what's going on when you're be addicted to air. It's something you need constantly. Be addicted to liquids. You need liquids in your body. Make them good ones. But don't be addicted to coffee and alcohol, meaning consume it on a daily basis. But if 1 cup of coffee throws you into a tailspin, then you're not in a very good state of health either. So, but you know, I used to get my patients to be, if my patients didn't have a degenerative disease and they weren't dying, I would just get them to follow my program 5 days a week, and then on Saturday and Sunday, you know what I did? I didn't look. And you know what? Their lives changed dramatically. So I'm perfect, but you guys aren't. And so I would really like you to try that 5-day-a-week program. Everybody in here and everybody listening to me around the world, just try to live cleaner and healthier 5 days a week. And because you know what, on the weekend, your friends are going to call you. It's time to party. It's time to go out and have a good time. And, you know, if you want that to be, you know, wheatgrass juice and an enema, more power to you. We've done that for decades, okay? Not with each other. But we've done that for decades, and, you know, that's a great party, too. But if you want to party and hurt yourself a little bit, as long as you build enough strength, as long as you create enough powerful health, go ahead and have a few glasses of wine or a few cups of coffee, and, you know, who cares? Pick up the pieces on Monday morning, get back on the treadmill, get back on the food program, get back with living a clean life. But I did find that my patients that really live clean 5 days a week built up such tremendous health that a cup of coffee or a bottle of wine or some birthday cake or a garbage meal wouldn't knock them back down. You built up a resistance. You build up powerful health. This is why I create powerful health. Okay, next question.
Hi, Dr. Schulze. My husband, he can't...
That was cool because I see you, but your voice is coming from over here. It's like, I thought it was back
around
in the 60s.
The world. Yes. My husband can't seem to gain weight. All of a sudden, like 3 months ago, he had like some type of paralysis happen to him, and he couldn't get out of bed, and he has a lot of pain in his body, and he started losing weight. So we started doing the detox. We did the 30-day detox, but he kept losing weight. And then I said, you know, maybe start the prostate. So we started the prostate, but he started to go to the bathroom more. He used to go every 2 hours, then he started going every hour. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with his body.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
Would you summarize that too, Greg, for the people at home?
So if I tracked all that, so her husband has been losing weight pretty dramatically, just can't seem to keep weight on his body. So did the 30-day detox, but still lost weight. Started doing the prostate formula as well, but he's just going to the bathroom more often, like every hour instead of every couple hours, and still isn't able to retain weight. How old? He's 55, and he's been losing weight. Like, how much weight has he lost at this point, you think?
Now 110. He was down to 104. He gained a little back.
A little back. What was he typically before he started experiencing? Around 140 down to about 110. So 30, almost 35 pounds now, back to about 30 pounds
And where
down.
is he now?
Yeah.
He's in Santa Monica. He barely walk. I mean,
He's in Santa Monica. She has to lift him to walk right now, so he's pretty
Gotcha,
weak.
so he couldn't come.
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, that's not a good sign. If you were to take him through all the medical tests, someone like that needs to pull out all the stops, no wine, no coffee, you know, follow a great program. And one of the best ways to start is super meal. Okay, super meal, super protein plus, all the superfood formula that are on that wall over there, because we got to get nutrition, super nutrition into his body, flood his body with nutrition. And then America needs more protein, more carbs, no fats, no sugar, more cholesterol. We don't need that stuff. We need nutrition. And so get him on a super nutrition program. What do you think is wrong with him?
You know, he went to the emergency room because he was really, really in pain.
I can't hear you up here.
He went to the emergency room because he was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And they did a CAT scan.
Yeah.
And they said, we don't see anything. So they did x-rays, and they didn't see anything in the x-rays. And
Yeah, but
blood
I don't
tests,
care
they didn't
about
see
them.
anything.
What do you think is wrong with him?
I don't know, it just shocked me all of a sudden because he's been healthy all his life. We don't have health insurance, we'd never go to doctors, and all of a sudden this happened.
Yeah. Well, you come up with something. You tell me. Make something up.
But they said
I
maybe
don't live with
cancer.
them,
They
so
said
you
maybe
tell me.
cancer. That's what the doctor at the hospital said, but they don't see any signs of it.
Yeah. What?
They said they think it might be cancer because it's symptoms of cancer.
Yeah.
But there's
what
no.
do you think it is?
I think it's mental.
Emotional?
I mean, why? Yeah, emotional or mental.
Yeah. You can create anything with your mind. And I don't know why you said that, but you're probably right. Most people who live with someone or even with yourself, I used to ask my patients, what's wrong with you? And they would go, well, that's why I came to you. And I go, how the heck would I know? I don't know you. You tell me what's wrong with you. And we have been dumbed down and stupefied by everything from the public school system to the medical establishment to where we don't think we know ourselves anymore. There's no such thing as just a physical disease. You have to have an emotional disease and a spiritual disease to go along with it. No matter what you're fixing in your body, you also have to fix the head. And if your liver's plugged up all the way, you're going to be angry. And you know, most people have succumbed, in America at least, to living a life not being happy. And so if I was to talk with him, I'd want to know what he's unhappy about, what would make him happy, because he's wasting away. You know, now we could put a name on that. We could call it oat cell leukemia. Who gives a crap? That name's not going to help us out at all. And if he goes to the doctors with that name, they're just going to fill him full of poisons anyway. But there's something going on, and so he just has to get super healthy. Now, a person like that, I often refer to what I call my incurables program, because he might have a disease that medicine doesn't have a cure for, which would be cancer or AIDS or arthritis or diabetes. Just about every disease known, medicine has no cure for. Medicine is all about maintaining disease. Think about it. It's disease maintenance, disease management. It's like keeping a pet. Well, you don't get rid of that disease, but you take insulin, and now your pancreas goes to sleep and becomes paralyzed, and you artificially fix your blood sugar. Well, you're not getting better. There's no healing going on. That's managing a disease, you know. You're kind of like managing a disease. And we want your husband to get really well. So he's got to go all the way down to the basics, super nutrition into his body. You have a juicer at home?
Yeah, we have a Vitamix, and we have.
Great. That's like a blood transfusion. Use it 3 times a day. Put all the good veggies. Go to the Santa Monica Organic Market. Get the highest quality food. You know, in the 60s, we used to look for the highest quality pot. Now you just look for the highest quality food. Okay? Get the highest quality food into his body. Stuff that he barely has to digest. But you got to make sure his head's right.
See, he's actually a healer, and we're losing some young kids from disease.
One more time, lips closer to the microphone.
He's actually a spiritual healer, and we're losing some children from diseases, and I think that affects him. Yeah, he's probably got some garbage there too. You know, healing yourself is about not only flushing out your body and your bowels and your liver, but also your mind and your spirit. So it's something we have to check and make sure his head's right. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Are you depressed? No. Okay, good. Don't be depressed about it. It's just a matter of creating powerful health. Let's make it fun.
Dr. Schulze.
Do we have any more questions from people in South Korea or wherever they're watching
There's
from?
a bunch here. I can read you one real quick, and then we'll jump to the other side of the
We'll
room.
alternate.
All right, great. So actually, we got about 5 or 6 questions from people all asking about any protocols you have to deal with pain. people with shoulder pain, rib tendons, lower back pain, back spasms, knee pain, all kinds of stuff.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. I wore my tuxedo because someone said it's kind of formal, so well, I didn't really wear my tuxedo, but I wore the tuxedo jacket, but it's gone now. Okay, pain. Well, pain is a wonderful barometer. Imagine we had a smoke detector, a smoke detector in the room, and all of a sudden, there is one in here somewhere, it starts beeping really loud. It's telling us something. So the typical response of medicine is to go over and pound it and break it and knock it off the wall. Well, that doesn't make much sense. Now we're going to have a fire and it's going to burn down the building and kill us all. And that's what pain relief often is, especially if it's undiagnosed pain. And so we got to be real careful about that, about making pain go away. It's almost like you're running a keyboard and you have a monitor and you throw the monitor away. Well, now you really don't know what program you're in and if you're typing and it's working right. You got to have that monitor, and pain and fevers and all the responses that our body give us means something wrong. We sprain our ankle, you step on it and you have pain, that's your body saying, don't step on it. Take a break now. You know, people often came with headaches and they had gone and had acupuncture and they had had every treatment, chiropractic for the subluxated cervical vertebrae, on and on and on and on. But they just needed to sit down, shut up, breathe a little bit, take a break, maybe have a crap. And the next thing you know, their headaches were gone, that they've been plagued with for years. Often it's simple. Simple solutions. You have to at least start with all the simple ones. I forgot the question.
Well,
Dr. Schulze was channeling so loud, I
love
forgot
it.
it all.
With regards to pain, though, most people, many of the questions were about shoulder pain, knee pain, tendons.
And you know, here's another one too. I had a lady come into my clinic with back pain for 3 years. She was ready to have some of the nerves cauterized in her back. Horrible, horrible pain, and sciatic pain, and ready to have nerves cauterized. And she went to chiropractors. She had had a surgery. She had had acupuncture. She had used pain medications to where she became a zombie and done it all. And I put her on a bowel cleanse, and in 2 weeks she never had back pain again. So, you know, one of the reasons I push the bowel up front is it's a huge organ. It's putting, if it's constipated, it's putting pressure on the lungs, the heart, the liver, the kidneys. Think about it. I've had women with painful menstruation all their life, and all I did is put them on a bowel cleanse, and their menstruation problems went away. Well, the uterus is wrapped with a colon, and if the colon's full of fecal matter and swollen, it's collapsing the uterus, and then when you have your period and you're to shed your endometrial lining, how's that going to feel? Ah! Okay, so I know people think I have a shit fetish, okay, but I really don't. It's just I found in my clinic that when I got people eating clean and juicing and taking superfood and at the same time getting their bowels stimulated to empty out all the waste that's in there and then start getting out some of the old waste, 80% of them were better. Think about that. How far have we degenerated in our society to where 80% of our illness can be removed if we just get more nutrition in and more waste out? And for the 20% that were left over, well, we got a little more advanced, some liver flushing, some kidney flushing. Let's get some movement going. Let's get the attitude right. Let's boost the immune system. The 5 steps that you all should know, or you're going to have to leave the room. My 5 steps that I always talk about, nutrition in, okay, getting the nutrition, flooding your body with nutrition. You know, I always say we all take echinacea this time of year. Why? Because echinacea will create more immune cells in your body, more macrophages. It means big eater. They just go around and eat everything that's bad for you. More T cells, T killer cells, T helper cells. More B cells that use the 5 different types of immunoglobulin on the surface of the B cells and make a specific poison for the H3 virus also the flu that's out now, all the immune chemicals, interleukin, interferon, that buzz around your body and help with your immune response. But what is echinacea? It's telling your body to make more of those. What is it going to make them from? Chicken McNuggets? Okay. Beer? I mean, think about it. Nutrition is number one. That's why in the book it's number one. I need to flood your body with nutrition, with nutrients. That's why I make nutritional supplements that are made from only foods and herbs, what we call superfoods and super herbs. And you add them with your Vitamix and your Champion Juicer, and you flood your body with nutrition. And now everything else in here will work 100 times better. It might work without all that nutrition, but you take the female tonic because you want to balance your hormones. What are you going to build more hormones from when you're menopausal? Okay, you're going to build more hormones from Chicken McNuggets? No. Okay. In fact, eating animal food, you're going to get animal hormones. You have to have nutrition. Nutrition is the building block, the foundation. Nutrition is what makes this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Uh-oh, I grabbed my penis around the world. I probably can't even say that. YouTube just dropped us. I'm just not ready for prime time yet. A couple years, I'll mellow out, maybe decades. Okay, but think about that. Nutrition is what builds this tissue, your body, number one, every day. And if you have a day that goes by and you eat garbage and you eat crap and there's no nutrition, remember, no American, people go, well, how do I get my protein? How do you not get your protein? There's never been an American ever diagnosed with a protein deficiency, ever. I go, you know, just eat lots of fruits and vegetables. And they go, well, if there was a nuclear war and all the plants were gone, would you eat meat? I'd kill you and eat you for asking that stupid question. Whiners come up with the weirdest shit, don't they? Okay. Nutrition, 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 nutrition. Look in your kitchen when you get home. Is that going to make you happy? Is that going to make you healthy? If there's Haagen-Dazs in the freezer, throw it out. Get to the organic markets around you. Get to Whole Foods. Get all that fresh. Get a rainbow in your kitchen. Berries and vegetables and all that stuff. And if you don't really want to eat it, throw it in the Vitamix or a blender and blend it up and make a drink and add some super meal. You have to flood your body with nutrition. If you want anything else to happen, you have to have the nutrition first, because your body's not going to build hormones, new brain cells. It's not going to do anything without flooding yourself with nutrition. And you know what happens if you take too much synthetic iron? You get sick. If you take iron pills are made from ferrous oxide, you know what that is? It's called a nail. Okay? It's just ground up metal. And if you take too much, okay, you'll get sick. And if you take a lot, you'll get really intense diarrhea. And if you take too much, you'll die. Now, has anybody ever died from eating beets? There's organic iron. So when you're dealing with foods and herbs, when you have enough, your body just doesn't utilize it. When you're dealing with harsh chemicals and metals and things like that, you can make yourself sick with it. So stick with nutrition. The kitchen is your foundation of your future health. What's in your kitchen? Does Dr. Schulze ever eat anything bad? No, I'm perfect. Okay, once a year. And do I have it at home? Never. My home is a temple. Everything in my house is organic, vegan, and raw. And sometimes I get pissed off at 2 in the morning because everything in my house is organic, vegan, and raw. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay, because that's keeping me alive and keeping me going, and I'm used to it, and I've been playing that game my whole life now. So keep your house pure. When they go Do you want that to go? Say yes. And then when you take it, just drive by someone on the street and hand them the food. Don't take it home. Partying is for outside the house. Home is for a nutritious kitchen. Okay, I was channeling. Next question from Czech Republic.
I have two questions. First one
You're
is,
only allowed one, sir. It'll depend on the first question. If I really like it, then I'll let you have a second one. Closer to your lips. I can't hear that one through the monitor.
is that better?
Now you're
Okay.
on. You're on.
You used to see patients.
Right to your mouth.
Used to see patients in your clinic.
You got to put the mic right. Put
Is
your
that better?
lips on the metal part.
Okay.
And someone turn it up louder. Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. You used to see patients in a clinic.
Yeah.
What caused you to stop that?
The United States government. I never had one patient complain, ever, to anybody or to any agency, ever. My patients love me. But my patients healing themselves was an embarrassment to the medical profession. It made them look like idiots. Okay? Because the medical profession also told them, you have 6 months to live. And here it is 4 years later, and they don't have the disease anymore. Okay, so think of how embarrassing that is. And then imagine me shooting my mouth off about it. It brought a lot of heat down on me because we have freedom of speech in America, but we don't really have freedom of medicine. Not yet. That wasn't written into the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Okay, I like that question, so you get a second one.
Thank you. So there are, I don't know how many accredited schools of naturopathic medicine here in this country. And there are others that are online.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone
I can give
in
you
choosing?
It's not like I don't suggest anybody, but I really want to empower all of you. Since my system, the problem is with most schools of naturopathic medicine is they look at diseases and how to cure them with herbs. And I don't do that. That never really works very well because you have someone with a prostate problem and all they do is take the prostate tonic. Well, herbs are so powerful and potent that often works, but eventually it won't. Okay? Your body will heal itself, but it needs your help. And so I don't like to focus on disease, as you heard from my initial statement. I like to focus on creating powerful health. And most of the naturopathic schools and colleges focus on healing disease with herbs. And it's just kind of opposite of my thought. Plus, I try to educate everybody and how to create powerful health. So I went to a couple different schools. I went to a lot of schools. We both trained with Pablo Arola, a great old naturopath. I trained with Dr. Bernard Jensen, John Christopher, but they were more people that talked about food and using herbs and movement and encompassing this program that I don't know if it exists much out there now. So what I would do is, you look like a real smart guy to me, I would just start practicing and be a coach and bring people in and be a doctor or whatever it is you want to be. I'm giving you a certificate now. Because sometimes you get through these schools and you end up getting polluted. You know, some people always say that once you make it through medical school, you can't think natural anymore. You can't, because you have all the names of the diseases in your mind and all the drugs and too much information about anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and you don't need that to be well. I'm not saying it's bad, but you don't need it. You know, in my clinic, one day I got this. And I had 17 diplomas on my wall from various schools and courses and people I trained with. And I had a patient in a waiting room, and I took all the diplomas and smashed them and threw them out the window into the garbage can where I threw all my patients' files. It was a little traumatizing. And then I decided I wanted to throw out my stethoscope. I did. I throw out my sphygmomanometer. I don't even want to own something that's called that, but that's a blood pressure cuff. And I just started dumping, and the next thing I knew, there was nothing left in my office. And then I went out the door and I said, next. And the patient came in and looked around because I realized I was hiding behind all that bullshit because I didn't need that anymore because I have seen the light. Okay? And really, it's all about healthy living. Healthy living. It's not about healing disease, even healing disease with herbs. Now, sometimes we use those names, but I just put a name of an organ on there that this will help. Prostate, heart, brain. But I try to get people away from that. Now, you are going against the grain or swimming upstream a little bit, but the world is turning in this direction. I don't think there's anybody in LA that thinks that chicken McNuggets are a healthy, nutritious food. Okay, I'm sorry, McDonald's, I'm picking on you. No, I'm not. No one caught that? You know, there's a lot of garbage food out there. 99-cent tacos, how could that be good for you? I mean, or 3 tacos for 99 cents, I saw that one. The reality is I always used to say there's 3 words that go with healing yourself. Change, you got to be willing to change. My patients had to be willing to change. Responsibility, quit blaming everybody else. It's your ass that got you here. It's your ass that's going to get you out of here. It's not Uncle Harry's fault. It's not I was molested when I was a kid or by Harvey Weinstein. It's not this. It's not. Stop blaming. We're a country of blamers. We're a country of whiners. Want to blame everybody for everything that's wrong in our life. Everything that's wrong in our life is because we volunteered for it. So I had to get my patients to change, take responsibility, and then here's the last one, remember, simplicity. This is not rocket science, it's easy. And if you can get your head around that, and it's difficult because it's not the way our society in general thinks, but if you can get your head around that and then make yourself a shining example of energy and vitality and health, that's what I did, and that's what got me in a lot of trouble. That's what got me here. Because the reality is, as a medical doctor, you can't take someone's clothes off without putting one of those paper stupid things on. I wanted to see my patient's body. One is I'm kind of perverted, but another reason is I got to see what I'm working with. Okay, I got to see what I'm working with. So the minute you get regular, you have to follow their rules, and I just don't do regular very well. I hope that made sense. And you haven't left yet, so it must be okay. Greg.
Yes.
United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, I've got a question here. A question here from Charlotte and Paul asking about osteoporosis. We find your programs to be the best out there for so many different issues, but we've not heard you talk about osteoporosis and cartilage weakening in older women. Do you have any specific suggestions?
Yes, I got a couple here, a couple thousand. But as women get older and go into menopause, often they get osteoporosis, which is their bones start dissolving. The only reason your body dissolves your bones, it could also stop your heart and lungs to get more calcium, but then you would be dead. So here's the thing to remember. Whenever your body does anything, thank the Lord that it's doing it. I don't care if it's pain, inflammation, or anything. Dissolving your bones, wonderful. Okay, because you can live without a very good skeletal system, but you can't live without heart and lungs. Your body has perfect responses. You're either a believer in the human body and in God and in nature, or you think we're all in hell and being attacked constantly by microbes or something. Okay, but I am a believer in the human body being an amazing, amazing tool. You learn the first week in Immunology 101, the body is a self-repairing mechanism. I got it. I didn't need any more. Why'd I sit through 2 more years of immunology? I didn't need it. The body's a self-repairing mechanism. So it's repairing you because you need calcium to stay alive, for your heart to beat, okay, for your lungs to work. but you can have brittle bones and you can still live. So when you have osteoporosis, you have to think, I need more calcium in my body. So what do people do? They take rocks. They eat rocks. They eat ground up oyster shells. Well, remember the Three Stooges did that. They threw away the oysters and crunched on the shells, and we laughed our asses off, and people are doing that every day. That's great, loaded with calcium, but you can't assimilate it. Horse shit's loaded with calcium, but I don't want to eat it. So if I want nutrition, it has to be what I consider a good quality food, not oyster shells or horse shit. It has to be a good quality food. And the first thing that always comes to my mind is carrot juice, a beautiful source of calcium. And people go, well, what about milk? You know, there's good things about milk, but bad things about that. I try to find things that there's only good things about when I'm looking for the nutrition in my body. And exercise. Exercise builds up bone mass. So we got to get away from this society. And I'm not saying this person said this, but in our society, we think of what can I take to fix this? What pill can I take to fix this? What herb can I take to fix this? And that's just a real lame response, but we don't know any better. Okay? So you have to educate yourself and others to know that it's not take a pill to fix a disease, take some calcium to fix osteoporosis. If this woman had a super food program with a rainbow in her kitchen of green leafy vegetables and all these other things, and then did enough bowel cleansing and got that bowel working perfectly and exercised and was at the gym and did her yoga and all that stuff, it would probably go away. I would say 98%. And then if it persists, then we have to look at other things. But you know what I found in my clinic? Like I said, just with nutrition in and waste out, 80% of my patients after 4 weeks forgot what was wrong with them. I had a woman in here, came in the pharmacy with a rapidly, aggressively growing brain tumor. It was basically going to kill her, and that's what the doctor said. And I don't practice anymore. I haven't in a long time. So I sent her to a friend of mine who just got her healthy. And it went away. I don't get into the gory, negative, horrible medical details. Your body is a miracle-making machine. I got a wire here. I'm just moving a wire. Your body will create miracles. It'll heal itself of anything because it doesn't listen to all the bullshit that we have in our head. You're either heading into health or you're heading into disease. And as we age, you have to push the accelerator on the health a little more. Okay? We're all going to die. That's the eventual end of this journey and wonderful experience. Okay? But it shouldn't be in pain, riddled with diseases, rotting away in the hospital. No one wants to go like that. This is a beautiful experience. Let's have it be a party from beginning to end. Next question, Greg.
Somebody in the room we can grab. You had one?
Hi, Dr. Schulze.
Hi.
Thank you so much for your input.
Thank you.
I'd like some information on the thyroid. My doctor says I have to take this pill for the rest of my life. Is that true?
For your thyroid?
Thyroid.
Well, essentially, yes and no. Okay? Yes, because the doctor is expecting that you're not going to do anything about it. Okay? So, yes, you will have to take thyroid pills for the rest of your life if you don't do anything else. Yeah. You know, doctors are smart people. Look at the Merck Index and the Merck Manual. The Merck Manual is the book of every disease known in the world. And they tell you what the disease is, and they tell you what's going to happen. Diagnosis and prognosis. And it's all based on the average American. If you're me, they don't know what the heck's going to happen. I had a bad heart as a kid. I fixed it. Okay? I burnt my hand off, fixed it. I tore my knee out. They said I'd never walk again. Look at this. Okay? I just didn't believe it. I did my own thing. Okay, they were right if I was the average American, but I'm not the average American. So you just have to look at, you know, health is an interesting thing. Everybody says they want a Ferrari or a Rolls Royce, but then when they see what the payment is, that rusty Volkswagen wasn't so bad. Okay? Everybody wants health, but then when they see what the payment is, what's going to be involved, taking those thyroid pills for the rest of your life isn't so bad. Okay? But you don't look like you want to do that. So what you need to do is just look at all the levels and areas of your life, from nutrition, how do we increase it? From waste, how do we get more out? Maybe do some of the more of the detoxes, liver detox, kidney detoxes. Immune system, how to boost it up more. You know, when we get into detox, more detoxing. And getting that food in your house being better and better, and the experiences with junk food less and less. And you'll raise yourself up to another level of health and another level of health. And if you raise it high enough, your thyroid will come back alive. And that's really the story with every organ and every system in the body. It's really not a matter of will the body regenerate. We now know that every organ in the body regenerates. Even the brain cells regenerate. Every organ regenerates. But the question is are you living a life that is healthy enough for it to do its job? Your body is a self-repairing mechanism. Remember that back to immunology class. First day, first week, you learn in school. Okay, your body's a self-repairing mechanism. Well, then why isn't it repairing us? Because it's coming into too much resistance. It wants to repair us. That's its job. It knows how to fix you of every disease known. It knows how to heal you of every disease known. It knows how to cure you of every disease known. But it's just running into too much resistance. I mean, if you're on a jet and it's flying at 100 miles an hour and there's a 100-mile-an-hour headwind, where are you going? Nowhere. And if it's a 150-mile headwind and you're going at 100 miles an hour, where are you going? 50 miles an hour backwards. Okay, so your body runs into too much resistance, and that can be part of the aging process, but also your lifestyle. That's why I said the older you get, the more you have to improve your lifestyle. The more you have to think fun thoughts, the more you have to, when people start coming up and emotionally vomit on you, you have to do the martial arts. I don't want to hear that. Okay, I had a patient who had breast cancer. She had her breast removed. She had uterine cancer. She had a complete hysterectomy. And then they said, we found cancer everywhere. You have 2 months to live. That's when she came to see me. That was 30 years ago, and she's still alive. And I love her. And one of the things she always did is when people started to come up and spew out their negativity, or what you can't do, or, you know, even the Rolling Stones tell us you can't always get what you want. I don't want to hear that shit, okay? She just went, I'm not listening to that. And that was one of her, you know, she was like the Old West. I'm not listening to that. She was great at it, and she's still alive 30 years later. Now, that takes a lot of power. And she did the health program and the cleansing and the detoxing, but I think that thing that fixed her the most is she didn't listen to the pollution that's out there. People come up to me all the time and say, you want to hear something really horrible? I go, nope, don't want to hear it. I only want to hear really awesome. I don't watch the news. I don't read the papers. I don't want to hear that nightmare stuff. Okay, that is not food that is going to heal me. You know what happened to 99.9999999% of the people in the whole world today? They had a good time. But when we watch the news, it's 30 minutes of the most concentrated negativity, hell on earth, provided to destroy our immune system. I don't watch that. Okay, next question. I'm going to pick one right here. Microphone is coming.
Hi, Dr. Schulze.
Hi.
So my mom and I are really big fans of yours, and we've been using your products a lot.
I'm going over to the speaker.
And we really want to adopt a healthier lifestyle and, vegan, juicing. But the problem with us is every time we start eating more greens or doing juicing, we tend to get very dizzy, and we've tried to start, small amounts and increasing.
And who is this?
Both of us.
Ah, yeah.
So and then we'll be dizzy for like weeks, on end. So we really want to, change our lifestyle, but how do we get over that?
Take it slow. Sometimes I used to tell my patients baby steps. I would have people that would say, okay, I know I ate McDonald's and all that garbage today, and Taco Bell and greasy food and fried food and all this food that's no good for me, and then I ate too much of it, and then we went out and we got high and we ate more, and then we ate donuts, and then we had cookies, and then we got drunk, and on and on. But tomorrow, I'm becoming a breatharian. I'd be like, well, there's a couple steps in between. One of the things that you will, see is people tend to do that. And you know what they do? They become a breatharian. And you know what happens the next day? Back to the donuts, back to the wine, back to the partying, back to the chocolate chip cookies, because it was too extreme. And so everybody's got to take their own pace. There's certain things I don't like about LA. You know what one of them is? Everybody thinks your level of importance in life is based on what you put in your mouth. Give me a break. Well, I'm a vegan. Well, I'm a vegetarian. Well, I'm a fish vegetarian, a lacto-ovo vegetarian. I hear people like, it's like a food war. Oh, give me a break. Okay? I am so sick of hearing, well, this is the first hot dog I've ate this year. Well, it's only January 12th. Bruce. There you are, Bruce. I said that. I hope you're watching. I mean, I'm so tired of this. You know what? Eat better food, you get healthier. If you eat a little garbage now and then, well, it depends what's wrong. If you have cancer and 2 months to live, don't eat garbage. You're saving your life now. You pull out all the stops. All the stops. You might have to quit your job if you're working in a paint factory. You pull out all the stops. But you don't have to pull out all the stops. Just make a new, healthier choice every week. A little bit lower on anything that will make you sick, a little bit higher on things that are going to make you healthy, and just work your way in that direction. You hit a bump. Okay, yesterday morning, I said, you know what, I want 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in my little juice where I have my super ginseng and all my other herbs. And I hadn't had that in a while. And then after that, I had some fresh tangerines growing, and I had it's tangerine time. Everybody needs to eat their tangerines. It's tangerine season. They're falling off the trees. And then afterwards, my liver said, dude, that was a little intense. And I got liver pain, and that's just because of all the apple cider vinegar and all that acid that's alkalinizing my body. It's beautiful stuff, but I just did too much of the beautiful stuff. No different than going to the gym, and sometimes when I go to the gym, I take a vitality shot, one of my vitality shots, and now I am ready to rock and roll and kick ass and do what I want to do. And then I go to get up the next morning, and I go, but my body won't come with me. Okay, I played a little too hard. So here's one thing to always remember. When you feel sick, is it health or disease? Well, I don't know. What did you do yesterday? If your body's totally sore, but you did a super workout at the gym, it's health. Your muscles are in recovery. If your liver's like twitching a little bit, but you just had apple cider vinegar and fresh organic tangerine juice, it's health. If your liver's twitching a little bit and you just had 4 shots of whiskey and a 6-pack of beer to chase it, it's a disease. Okay, so really anything that goes, if green worms are coming out of your ear, but you've been doing cleansing, hallelujah. Okay? But if you've been on the program of decadence, might not be a good sign. And that's how you base all this, because you will run into bumps. Some doctors used to call it healing crises, but I don't like using that name. It's just a bump. It's a diamond. It's a jewel in the road. And when you're getting healthy, you'll hit jewels in the road, and it's wonderful. Just back off a little bit and then push a little forward, because our bodies aren't used to all this. I remember I was in the jungle in Costa Rica, and there were some very primitive natives there that were helping me push my car out of mud. And I thought, I'll give them a treat. And I gave them some of the healthiest vegan, raw, organic cookies that we have available. And they ate them, and before I drove away, I saw them all vomiting behind a tree. Okay? They were way too healthy for our healthiest. Okay? So think about that. I love health food stores. I love Whole Foods. I love good quality food. But remember that a lot of stuff out there is merchandise. Sometimes I chew it up and I go, I spit it out and I go, I don't even know what that was. Make sure that everything you eat, you know what it was. Where are we? Who am I? You got the mic.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for having us out and allowing everybody to
Thank
be
you for
educated.
coming.
Yes. I've recommended superfood to thousands of people over the last decade. I've been studying you for many years.
Yeah.
And the biggest complaint I get is when I poop, my poop is green.
Yeah.
Dr. Schulze is ripping me off. He's giving me too much. What is your answer to that for the people taking it?
Green is cool. Green is good. It's funny. People get weird about certain things like that because green is not a normal American color for food. White, the number one eaten vegetable in America is French fries. So Americans like white. Pizza dough, toast, white bread. And so they're not used to colors. They're not used to all the colors in the kitchen, from the berry colors to the vegetable colors. That's called beta carotene and other awesome nutrients. They're just not used to that. I had a man that won Academy Award, but he was on my program, and he went to the Academy Awards, and he goes, now you've done it. I've gone too far. I'm bleeding from the bowels, and my bowels are bleeding. And I said, calm down, calm down. And then I got another message, I'm bleeding, I'm hemorrhaging from the bowels. And I said, calm down, calm down. And I said, what did you do yesterday? He goes, I did that, all those beets. And I go, it's beets. And he went, beets? Okay. And then the question is how serious are these people about getting well and healthy? I mean, but people love to whine, and people love to have their excuses. An old philosopher that I used to follow, Reverend Ike. Reverend Ike said, you got to get your butt out of the way. And he meant butt out of the way and all your butts. I want the superfood, but it made my poop green. I want to take the superfood, but I got a little flush in the face. I want to take the superfood, but you know what? Butts don't get people well. I had in my clinic this beautiful, calm, spiritual, gray-haired, elderly lady, probably in her 70s. And she was so sweet. And one day, all the staff saw me take her by the shoulder and say, you need to get the hell out of my clinic and don't come back. And push her out the door. And they were horrified. They go, why would you say that to her? And I said, because, the first week I said, you got to take my superfood. And then when she came back the next week, I go, did you take it? And she said, no, I haven't started. And I was like, okay, you need to take your superfood. Next week she came back and she said, well, I haven't really tried it yet. The third week she came back and I said, what is wrong with you? We're talking about a little green stuff, or take the tablets, or eat something with superfood in it, put it in a blender drink. And she said, well, the person I live with doesn't think that I should be using it. And I go, well, that's great, but you're in the wrong place. Okay, you come to me for help, but you don't want to take nutrition. It's time to leave. And don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out the door. That's the bottom line. I can only help people that want to help themselves. And so people come up with the lamest excuse. That's pretty lame. And I've heard it. I've heard it. People go, well, I don't like green. People say it with their kids, well, my kids won't drink green. Well, it's because they're used to Coca-Cola. We have to take it slow, the slow program, baby steps. Okay, how does that feel? Like walking across ice. Okay, wait a minute. Got it. Okay, let me try that next step. Whoa. Okay, I'm there. I'm safe. Take it at your pace, baby steps. Next question. Yes, ma'am.
It's not a question, it's a product idea. I thought about it and I said, Dr. Schulze can do it.
You want to come and work for my company?
Well, no. Yesterday, a friend of mine died. They said it's from the flu. What I saw was dehydration and malnutrition.
Yeah.
And all I could think about was I should have brought some carrot juice to put in the little things they were sucking on. So then I was thinking, how can people get nutrition if they can't eat or drink? I was like, remember those patches they make for cigarette smoke?
Yeah.
You could make a patch for nutrition.
A superfood patch. The only problem is a lot of those patches use chemicals to get it through your body subdermally. But I've even had patients with stomach tubes that couldn't eat, and we put the superfood in the stomach tube. Just tried not to clog it up. But thank you. I love ideas. Greg, you're the boss.
Number one, Dr. Schulze, you're the greatest.
You're the greatest.
No, you're the greatest.
No, you're the greatest.
Okay. Just a little advertisement here. About 4 years ago, my father was admitted to the emergency room because he couldn't urinate. And they discovered that he had 4% kidney function. They said he had a month to live. I knew Dr. Schulze, and I said, that's not going to happen. I went against the entire medical establishment. Well, after about 2 months in the hospital, his time ran out, and they were frustrated that he wasn't dead. They said, well, we can give him dialysis, but why bother? He's got dementia, thanks to Lipitor. And, I don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
So I eventually got him out there, out of that place. He was in another place. And I did a few other things, but it was Dr. Schulze, it was you that saved his life. I know you don't take credit, but I'm giving you credit. And I just wanted to acknowledge you because
thank you.
You gave me the fortitude to stand up against hundreds of doctors and the entire medical establishment and relatives I have that are in the psychological business saying that I'm delusional to think I could save my father.
Yes.
4% kidney function.
Yeah.
Guess what? He died 2015, about 18 months later.
Yeah.
But not because of kidney function. He had a brain aneurysm.
Yeah.
And it was merciful, by the way.
Yeah,
okay?
nice.
Now, here's what I want to say to everybody. About 4 months ago, maybe 5, I called this clinic, and due to some circumstances, when I was a kid, I had problems with my thyroid. I took some Synthoid. Not the best, but better than nothing. And I remembered that because a friend of mine said that he was having serious mental and physical problems. I won't go into it, seizures and everything else. They did all kinds of tests on him, and they said, gee, you've got a thyroid problem. They put him on Synthoid, and the symptoms cleared up. He came back to normal, okay? Now, that reminded me of something. I said, gee, you know what? I could use that stuff.
I don't know if we have this much time. Can you
all right, I'll make it quick. I said...
Because Dr. Schulze is channeling
right
now.
I said, you know what?
And
If I'm going to buy from anybody, it's going to be Dr. Schulze.
Yeah.
But I noticed you don't have a thyroid formula. So I thought, I called the clinic. Here's the man right here. He's my witness, LeBron. And to make a long story short, they say, yeah, we have a thyroid formula. I said, you do? I've been coming here for 12 years. I've never seen it. Anyway, to make a long story short, I came in. I got your female formula, reluctantly. But LeBron, a male, had to tell me, take this. There are no female hormones in there. I tore the label off. My son is an artist. He put in thyroid formula, as you recommend.
Yeah.
Bottom line, within 3 or 4 days of taking it, I had so much energy, I felt like I was 20 years old again. I'm not exaggerating. Yeah. I was throwing a football with my son 2 or 3 times as far as I could, and I'm not exaggerating. I mean, I was a different person. Yeah. This formula is so powerful. And by the way, I'm not negating your bowel formula or anything else. That's all necessary.
Okay, I'm cutting you off now. And I'm going to explain
anyway,
why.
all praises go to you.
Take the mic away from him. Thank you. Really, what the female formula does is it talks to your hypothalamus and your endocrine system, and it makes your endocrine system more sensitive and work better. So if you need to create any endocrine chemicals, whether it be thyroxine or thyroid chemicals in your body, or female hormone chemicals, it just tunes up your endocrine system. And I hate putting a name on it, but I used it mainly. But we also used it for that. LeBron, thank you for being up on that one, brother. Greg.
Side, I have a good friend a couple of years ago that I gave him the female formula. He was having issues. I just took a marker over the F and made it an H for female. And he was into it. He was fine. That's all you have to do. Yeah.
I like that. Any other questions coming on the internet?
Oh, yeah. I do one from the internet, and then we'll do one in the front of the room.
Okay, from the internet first.
A couple of quick ones here.
Yeah.
First, someone had kind of written, I'm anxious to try your new Cacao Crunch treat. Can you tell me, why'd you make it? And then there's a second quick question I have for you after that.
Advertisement. I made this for a lot of reasons, for fun, but a lot of my customers are what we call core customers. But they try to get people to try things. And I even have friends that I give a superfood bar to, and they spit it out and say it tastes like dirt. So we sat down for the last 2 years and tried to come up with a superfood product that tasted really nice. And we used organic everything, but we used organic cacao nibs, not chocolate. Cacao nibs off the plant. We use carob off the plant. All sorts of great things, and we put superfood in here. And let's see. I like that. That ripped open easy. Open it up. And you have Cacao Crunch. What do we call them? Treats. I call them balls. Cacao Crunch treats. And they're loaded with superfood, and they taste awesome. And one of the reasons I created it was for kids, or for your Uncle Harry, who's never had anything good in his life and he wants something tasty. But I take them all the time because I carry them with me, and they're not to give you 100% of everything each ball. But each ball does give you 240% of your energy vitamin B12 naturally from the foods and herbs. Again, this is one of my products, so it's all foods and herbs, no chemicals. And 72% of your vitamin C just in one ball. But you'll read all the nutritional breakdown on the back. But really think of it as another thing that you can play with to make sure you keep the nutrient level up. Flood your body with nutrition. I want to make sure if my body needs to make hormones, it has the nutrition, which is the building block to build those hormones. I want to know if I need more immune cells because it's cold and flu season. I want to make sure that my body has nutrition to make more T cells, B cells, immunoglobulin, interferon, interleukin, and all the things we know about we need in our immune system. I want to make sure that I can build everything I need to build. So I'm always looking at more nutrition. People say to me, well, do you take superfood? Do you take super meal? Do you take the superfood 100? I take them all. It's real simple. If I wake up in the morning and I'm on the road and there's really nothing in the kitchen, I put water, a banana, a little juice, whatever, and super meal. But if I'm at home and I got all the berries and I got the chia seeds and flax seeds from my omega-3 essential fatty acids, and also the walnuts that are loaded with essential fatty acids, and I have the sunflower seeds and the almonds that are high sources of complete protein, and I have the berries that are antioxidants, well, then I use the superfood because I got all that stuff already. And if I'm running out the door and I don't have time for any of that, and there's no one there to make me a drink and hand it to me before I run out the door, and I want to go to the gym, or I don't want a lot in my stomach, Superfood 100. At least I'm getting 100% of what I need. Or a bar, or a ball. Excuse me, a Cacao Crunch treat. I just want to make sure I got a lot of nutrition going all the time in my body, because I know with enough nutrition, look at the energy I have. I just am loaded with energy. And it's one of the reasons is I flood my body with nutrition. So this is a new product. You'll love it, but it's something that you can turn people onto that's really tasty. You'll be surprised at how tasty it is. Worked on that one a couple years to get it to where you don't taste any of the things in there like the seaweed or the dulse or the algae or the chlorella or all the things that it's packed with that flood your body with nutrition. It's to fool people. No, but it's fun, it tastes great, and I take 2 or 3 every day, along with my super meal and everything else. Greg, there was a part 2.
You know, let's do one in the room real quick. And
Okay.
Hello, doctor. Thanks for taking my question. What's your take on digestive enzyme and probiotic?
Well, nowadays people think that probiotics are the cure for everything. I saw an ad on television for probiotics for something really obscure. It's like our grandparents knew probiotics. It was called sauerkraut or kimchi if you were from Korea or wherever you're from. Every culture had fermented vegetables, and fermented vegetables are loaded with probiotics. Probiotics is just bacteria that is good for you, not like the H3 flu, but it's bacteria that's good for you. And when you take that in, so you have wonderful bacteria in your body, especially in your bowel, your intestinal flora, and a lot of drugs and a lot of foods that we eat destroy that intestinal flora. And so people nowadays really have a destroyed intestinal flora because of antibiotic use alone. I mean, we got an H3 flu around. They're going to prescribe 500 prescriptions for antibiotics in the next 3 months to Americans for the flu. And what will that do? Well, the flu is a virus, not a bacteria. It will do absolutely nothing. And the doctors know that, but the patients want it. They're afraid they'll lose their patients, and they'll go to another doctor that'll write them a prescription. And I heard it all the time. Write me a prescription for antibiotics. Write me a prescription for antibiotics. People are just sold on this idea of taking antibiotics. And the antibiotic, indiscriminate use of it in America has caused bacterial infections that we have no cure for. And the number one place to get them is where? In the hospital, in healthcare facilities. So we have destroyed our intestinal flora, vaginal flora, all the good bacteria in our body. So we want to promote that to come back. And the best way is my mother used to take cabbage and let it rot in the closet, and my friends didn't want to come in the house. And loaded. Fermented vegetables. You can find often at the farmers markets, there's people that ferment vegetables, the best source of probiotic. Yes, Greg.
From the internet, there was, you mentioned earlier healing your heart, obviously, but also healing your hand and healing your knee. There's someone who wrote in about a torn meniscus, which I think is when you hurt your knee, and wanted to know what were some of the specifics you did. And I'd also love to ask you even about healing your hand, your burned hand. You once told me a great story about the emotional work you did to really get your hand to heal. So what were some of the specifics you did to heal yourself in both those cases?
You know, the doctor that looked at my knee was one of your top surgeons in LA that deals with all the professional athletes, like the LA Lakers. I won't mention his name. And he said that I'd blown out my ligaments so bad that I'll need to have, if I don't have surgery, I'll never walk again. And I said, well, what is the surgery? And he said, well, we take cadaver ligaments and we put them in your body. And I thought, oh God, I'm with Dr. Frankenstein. This is insane. He's telling me my body, and then that bell went off again. Here's a nightmare story. Now, is he correct? Well, probably if I lived on donuts and coffee and wine and garbage food and hated myself and never took care of myself. But I worked really hard, and one of the great things to heal injuries is hot and cold. You get in a shower, you turn it on as hot as you can stand it, and then let that go for a minute, and then turn the hot water all the way off, and let cold be on it, and alternate hot and cold. Hot water, what happens to your skin? It turns red. That's blood to the surface. Cold water or ice packs, what happens? Your skin turns white. That's blood deep in your body. And the circulation is increased so dramatically with hydrotherapy or hot packs and cold packs. That's a great way to get your body to repair itself quicker. Is getting more of that. And I did everything you can imagine. You know, aloe vera I did on the hand to make sure your cells repair themselves 5 to 10 times faster than normal. Nutrition in, waste out. Brainwash yourself so you don't believe any of that negativity. I think the worst thing the medical profession does, more than indiscriminate antibiotics, more than everything they do, is the negativity they put in your mind when they tell you you're going to die, or they tell you there's nothing that can be done. What they mean to say is, there's nothing I know of to do, maybe go somewhere else. But the ego won't let that happen, so they go, there's nothing that can be done. Imagine telling that to someone when we know that our mind affects our immune system. Think about that. Think about the destruction of the immune system that you do with negativity. Because you know what a neuropeptide is? I'll tell you. A neuropeptide is a chemical that you create in your brain for every thought you have. When you're stuck in traffic and you wish you had those lasers on your car to kill the guy in front of you, and that feeling you get, that's a neuropeptide. When you love someone and you hug them and you feel their heart, that's a neuropeptide. Well, on your immune cells in your body, you have a neuropeptide receptor. Why would you have a neuropeptide receptor? Obviously, your immune system is listening to and reacting to your emotional dialogue. We better start cleaning up our emotional dialogue, my friends. Because every day when I look in the mirror, I go, yeah, wow, this guy's cool. Okay? You have to. Don't start looking at all the parts of your body that you don't like. Start picking on yourself. That's not going to get you what you want. It's going to depress your immune system. Do you want to depress your immune system in the midst of the biggest flu epidemic America's had in decades? I don't think so. So you better start loving that person you look at in the mirror and loving everything about your life. And when the immune destroyers come around with their bullshit, just go, whoa, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to listen to it. That's you. That's your shit. Stay away from me. I didn't mean you, of course. Yeah. Woo. I don't want that. I am not politically correct. I am not polite. When I don't eat shit sandwiches. And when people start giving them to me, I go, back off. Okay? And then I hear all sorts of whining and all sorts of stuff. And some of my friends will get mad at me because we'll walk up to a person and I'll go, hey, what is that over there? And then they'll start telling me some horrible stuff. And you know what I do? I just walk away. But all my friends are too polite. They'll sit there for hours and be tortured till they're down to 1 T cell and 1 B cell and a micron of immunoglobulin. And then they'll just... I am not doing that to myself. That's no different than eating 50 donuts, my friends. You're poisoning yourself. Okay, where were we? Young lady. Don't look around. I called you young lady. You need a microphone because the people in Kazakhstan can't hear you. People in Kazakhstan need to hear you. You don't like the people in Kazakhstan?
It's not working, is it? Oh.
It's working.
Okay. Enemas, coffee enemas, and colonics.
Healthy enemas and colonics. Do we all need them? Maybe not. But if you can't poop, take an enema. Okay? If you need an emergency thing, sure. And colonics, great. If you have a history of constipation, you're not going to take one intestinal formula number 1 and it's going to go away. You're going to have all sorts of nightmares and the nooks and crannies, old food, old substances in your bowel. Do you know that every American, if they live long enough, has bowel disease? Has polyps in the colon or diverticulosis or diverticulitis? Every American. In the 1950s, it was 10%. And in the 1960s, 15%, and it just grew and grew to where it's every American. And in the health books in LA schools, it says it's normal to have 3 to 4 bowel movements a week. That's what we're teaching our kids in health class. Yeah. And if you calculate that out, and if that's average in America, I figured it out because I'm that kind of guy. That means you're 77,000 bowel movements short in your lifetime. That's a lot of backed up stuff. We're like Elvis or John Wayne, just full of it. So if you have a history, you should not only be doing the 5-day bowel detox, but if you know a good colonic therapist, why not? A colonic is just a wash in and wash out. It's just a wash. It's like taking a bath or a shower, but for your bowel. I think it's a great idea. And high enemas, anybody can do at home. Have an enema party. It's fun. You know, a high enema is no big deal. You're just taking an enema bag, but keep refilling it. If you can find the one that's open on the top or cut a hole in yours, then you can keep filling it. And you can fill water all the way down to the bottom of the cecum and the appendix. It's a great idea, okay? You're filling your whole colon with water. That's it. And you can add some wheatgrass juice or some aloe vera. I had a girl in my clinic that had such Crohn's disease that her bowel was bleeding and they were cauterizing her bowel and it was just rotting and falling apart. And I had her invert herself in my office and I literally put a funnel in her ass. And I just started pouring in aloe vera and flaxseed oil and all the good things I knew. And the look on her face, it was like I put the fire out. She just went, oh, God. We just filled her bowel with good stuff instead of with bad stuff. Now, she had ate a lot of bad food, but she also had a genetic tendency for a disease. But the fact that we have genetic tendencies just means that we're genetically predisposed to have the problems of our parents. If we live the lifestyle of our parents, we think like our parents, we're probably going to have the genetic pattern that our parents had. But you do not have to live that out. You just have to not live like your parents. Don't live like your parents. Unless they're 120 years old and they're living in the old country, then listen to your parents. But if they're in this country and they've created a lot of disease, you don't have to live out that disease. I know women that have had their breasts removed prophylactically that were completely healthy because they were so afraid of getting breast cancer. I got a better idea. Get rid of the fear. Okay? Get healthy. Get positive. Love yourself. We're so afraid. We're so scared. We have so much thoughts of disease, and people talk about disease, and we hear about it all the time. Every time I hear something about the flu, you know what I did last night? I ate about 10 cloves of garlic. I take some shots of my cold and flu shots. I gargle with my oral therapy. I take in handfuls of my Super C tablets. Okay? I don't want the flu. Don't come around me. I don't need that. I want to feel great, feel energized. But people just sit and go, oh, God, I hope I don't get it. Okay? And if anybody's around me that's coughing or sneezing, I go back off. I don't hang around with people like that. I don't hang around with people with bad attitudes, bad coughs. I love my ass too much. I love myself too much. Entiendo? Okay, Adam, give me a time. I have 2 more hours to go. Great. No, I've been going 2 hours. Okay, last question. Greg had one. Did you have a part? You had a part 2.
Oh, no, we got it.
We got it? Okay, one more gentleman raised his hand. Go ahead and stand
Hey,
up.
Dr. Schulze. Thanks
Yes.
for having us here. The liver and gallbladder detox, 5-day detox.
Yes.
Dramatic, like life-changing results emotionally.
Yes.
So are you approaching that from a Chinese medical perspective? Is that where you brainstorm this up?
Well, you know, the one thing we have to get away from in America is we separate illness or disease by physical, emotional, and spiritual. But in our world, how can you disconnect? What am I going to put my spirit over here, my emotions over here, and my liver over here? We're all connected. This thing's all connected. All our cells are touching each other, and they're all connected. So there's no way that you can have an organ that's plugged up and not have the emotional downside of that and the spiritual downside of that. Every organ has that, and usually when the liver is clogged, you are more angry. You have more anger, and you notice that when you flush out the liver, things get more blissed out. You know, when you get healthy, you don't just get physically healthy. All of a sudden, you can feel the vibes. You can feel the love. You can feel what's going on that's nice. And you can see your way through problems you have in life that were right there and you couldn't get around them, but you cleaned out your bowel and now they're not even there anymore. And you get more blood to your brain. You protect yourself, especially during cold and flu season. You open up that kitchen and get it all set up with all that different type of food. And then all of a sudden the spirit will come alive. And you'll start, you know, what you see from me is a lot of energy and passion and enthusiasm, because that keeps me healthy. And a lot of power to keep the ugliness away, the bad attitudes away. The Course in Miracles says that there's only energy in the universe is love. It just gets screwed up when it comes through some people. I added that. So I know everybody's loving, but it hit their hot dog and got weird, you know. So I'm very protective of myself and my Buddha field and the people around me. So anyway, some thoughts. Don't get stuck on disease. Don't get stuck on anatomy and physiology. Don't get stuck on immunology. Don't get stuck on what your doctor said. Don't get stuck on what your parents had. Don't get stuck on any negativity that comes your way. Don't hang on to it. Just let it float away. And if people are pushing at you, leave the room. Get out of there. Save your life. Okay? It's very important. Keep your head straight. Keep loving, keep believing, and then get home and look at what's in your house. Is the food in there going to love you, or is it going to hate you? Don't have food that's going to hate you in your house. Only have the good stuff. Only have the good stuff. And then how well is your body cleaning its waste out? Get on some programs to clean the waste out. Do some bowel cleansing a couple times a year. Do a liver detox. Do a kidney detox. Flush that body out. You treat your cars, most people treat their cars better than they do their bodies. And they go, oh, well, I haven't changed my oil in 6,000 miles. Well, what about changing your oil? You know, they do regular maintenance, and then you go, what kind of oil? They go, put the good stuff in, but they put the bad stuff in here. I find that people get very passionate about hurting themselves. But then they go, well, you know, I heard if you take too much echinacea, it'll burn out your immune system. Those same people never thought twice about opening the 7th beer, thinking maybe they're packed in 6-packs because that's the dosage. When they ate 14 donuts one day, just for the hell of it, they never thought they were going to overdose. But they're worried about taking too much echinacea. Oh, God. I can't stand the whining. Okay? People have no hesitation in killing themselves in America. But getting healthy, they got 1 billion questions and a lot of fear. Think about it. That's crazy. There's no fear with drinking whiskey, taking drugs, eating garbage food that you don't even know what it is, what part of the animal maybe it came from, or is it really a potato, or is it just some kind of weird mush? Maybe it's Soylent Green. I don't know, okay? But they have a lot of questions when it comes to getting yourself healthy. So get that kitchen cleaned up in your house. Get the great food in there, get rid of the bad stuff, and don't bring it home into your temple. Do some periodic cleansing of your bowels. Step number 2. Step number 3, especially this time of year. We got a flu season out there that's killing record amounts of people. It's an epidemic right now. It's in all 50 states. And it's killing people, the young, the old. Boost your immune system, step number 3. And then when you feel the energy and you're feeling good, do some detoxing. Step number 4. And if you have a little few bumps and you don't feel good about them, that you're running into, this hurts or that hurts, whatever, use some of the specific formula. You know, I have a last thought here. I love this hammer because I just don't take shit. My job is to get rid of shit in all forms. It says on here, Dr. Schulze, impossible, and then crossed out the M. It's all possible. That Navy SEAL, the true story, had his legs cut off and still became a Navy SEAL and a Master Chief. And I said, how is it? And he goes, you know, everybody my whole life told me what I can't do. He goes, but I can do it. But look at this. This is a great mental thought to think about. Nowadays, people say vitamin C is ascorbic acid. That's not a tangerine. That's not an orange. That's a chemical. Ascorbic acid, 98% of what they sell in the store for vitamin C is ascorbic acid. It's a chemical made in China. Over 90% of it's made in China. It's made from like acetone, nail polish remover, bleach. It's a horrible chemical. And we say it's the same as an orange or a tangerine. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to realize it's not at all. This is what I make my Super C from. 11 superfoods on the planet that are the highest natural sources of vitamin C. And when you put it in your mouth, wow, you can taste it. Ascorbic acid just burns your tongue. This tastes awesome. And I take a lot of these. Childproof caps, I can never get through them. I take these every day. Multiple, especially this time of year. Vitamin C is immune food. Your immune system needs it to operate correctly. So just take a look at yourself over the next week and next month while I'm chewing my tab. Take a look at yourself and your life. Eat better food, eat less garbage. Cleanse your bowel. Boost your immune system, especially this time of year, it's so important. Eat a lot of garlic. Garlic's a broad-spectrum antibiotic, kills both gram-negative and gram-positive bacteria. It's an antiviral and antifungal. What could be better this time of year? Just the odor of garlic will destroy bacteria and virus. Just the odor. If chopped it up, put it in a room, send it around, kill bacteria and virus. So just breathing on people, you're helping them heal themselves. Funny, but true. And remember, the most important thing for your immune system, you got to love yourself, my friends. You got to love yourself. You got to love your life. You got to love what you do. You got to love the people you live with. If you don't love your wife or your husband, get out. Save yourself. Don't stay there because of some rules we made religiously or federally or any of that stuff. I want you to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself first. It's like an airplane. They say when the oxygen mask comes down, put it on yourself first. Why? Because if you're dead, you can't help anybody. I don't want you dead. And I want you helping others, just like that gentleman there who asked about that. I want you all to be testimonials to people when you go out to help them have better lives. So you got to love yourself, and that'll make you protect yourself. And I love all of you and all the people around the world watching. Just start lifting up your life. Get your food better. Get your exercise better. Have fun. You got to make exercise fun. Buy some cool clothes. Do what's fun. You know what happens if I do something that isn't fun? I quit immediately. Immediately. Fun is fundamental with everything in life. If you're eating healthiest food, but you're like, poison and like this is horrible, that ain't going to get you well. Fun is fundamental. You got to love everything you do. You got to be having fun constantly. Remember that. Remember one thing, have fun. It's fundamental with your food program, with your cleansing, with everything. Do not torture yourself getting well. That isn't going to get you where you want to go. Remember, you can't get what you want by doing what you don't want to do. Okay, I gave you a lot of food for tonight. Dr. Schulze channeled a lot. I love all you guys and everybody watching. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Sure.
That was great, partner.
Madeline.